I'm Ruth and I'm from Scotland. I'm often asked by people what food and drinks they should try when visiting Scotland. I've been racking my brains the last few weeks and I've also asked some other Scottish people, and I've come up with a list of the food and drinks you must try when you visit Scotland. There's a lot, so let's get straight into it. Let's start with Scotland's national dish, haggis. Haggis is made by mixing minced sheep's heart, liver and lungs with onion, oatmeal, suet, spices and salt. It's traditionally cooked inside a sheep's stomach, and these days there's a vegetarian option available. It's often served with neeps and tatties. Neeps is a Scottish word for turnips or swede, and tatties is a Scottish word for potatoes. We often eat haggis, neeps and tatties on the 25th of January every year. This day is a celebration of the birthday of Robert Burns, a famous Scottish poet. This dish tastes amazing with whisky sauce. You can find haggis throughout the year on restaurant menus served in a variety of different ways. Although haggis is Scotland's national dish, it's not something we would eat every day. Personally, I eat it around once every 2 months. Next is my favourite Scottish food, tatty scones. Tatty scones are made from mashed potato, butter, flour and salt. The ingredients are mixed into a dough, rolled out and cut into round or triangular shapes and then cooked on a griddle pan. They're commonly served as part of a traditional Scottish breakfast. My favourite way to eat them is to heat them up and serve them with butter. Cullen skink is a traditional Scottish soup featuring smoked haddock, potatoes, butter, cream or milk. It originates from a town called Cullen in the northeast of Scotland, but these days can be found all over Scotland. Tablet is a traditional Scottish sweet which is sometimes mistaken for fudge. It's made from sugar, butter and condensed milk. It tastes very sweet and buttery and has a crumbly texture. Everyone's granny usually has a fantastic tablet recipe, and it can be quite tricky to make. You have to be quite careful with the heating and the cooling in order for it to have the right consistency. Cranachan is a classic Scottish dessert which is layers of whipped cream, raspberries and toasted oatmeal. It can be sweetened with honey and traditionally includes a splash of whiskey. It's usually served in a glass so you can see the layers of cream and raspberries. Porridge is a traditional breakfast dish and it's made using oatmeal, milk or water and sometimes salt. It's simmered until it reaches a creamy consistency and it's usually served hot. You can add things like honey, sugar or berries to make it more interesting. When I was growing up, I ate porridge for my breakfast most days using water and salt. Shortbread is a biscuit or cookie and it has a rich and buttery flavour. It's made using butter, flour and sugar, and it has a crumbly, melt-in-your-mouth texture. Shortbread tastes amazing with a cup of tea. Shortbread is also used in other sweets, and two that I recommend you to try are Empire biscuits, which is 2 pieces of shortbread sandwiched together with jam and there's icing on the top, and another one is Millionaire shortbread, which is a layer of shortbread and then caramel and then chocolate. Square sausage, also known as Lorne sausage, is a traditional Scottish breakfast item. It's a square-shaped sausage that's typically made from either pork or beef and breadcrumbs and spices. The mixture is formed into a square block and then it's sliced into individual portions. When I went into my local butcher's to buy a slice of square sausage, the lady working there told me that she sells more beef than pork square sausage. Scotland has amazing salmon, and smoked salmon is a delicacy from Scotland. It's made using fresh salmon that undergoes a curing and smoking process. The salmon is typically cured with a mixture of salt, sugar and other flavourings. After curing, the salmon is cold smoked using wood chips. This process gives the salmon a rich and distinctive smoky flavour. Scottish smoked salmon is known for its high quality and it's often served in thin slices and can be either served on its own or part of other dishes. Scottish smoked salmon is so popular that it can be found worldwide. Scottish oatcakes are mostly made from oatmeal and they're most similar to a cracker. The main ingredients are usually oats, salt and water. The ingredients are mixed together, rolled out, cut into small pieces and then baked until crisp. Scottish oatcakes have a hearty and nutty flavour and crumbly texture. They're often enjoyed with things like cheese, smoked salmon and spreads. This video has been possible to film today thanks to Ridge. If you haven't heard of Ridge before, they make really slim and stylish pocket wallets and key cases in over 50 different colours and designs. I am so in love with the design of mine. I used to use a big bulky wallet that took up so much space in my handbag and my hiking bag. The Ridge wallet is so tiny and compact in comparison and can hold up to 12 cards. On mine, I've also added a strap for cash and a tray for coins. It's so easy to fit in my pocket if I go out for a walk or go jogging. Ridge also have luggage, and I recently went on a trip to Ireland and used my Ridge carry-on suitcase. It's really durable and it's made of weatherproof materials, which is very useful for travelling in Scotland and Ireland. Ridge products are so well made that they come with a lifetime warranty, which is incredible. Maybe you're looking for some nice luggage for a trip to Scotland, or perhaps a gift for Father's Day, which is just around the corner. Well, if you click my link in the video description, ridge.com/Ruth Ashling, and use the code Ruth Ashling, you can get 10% off your order. Thanks again to Ridge for sponsoring this video today. Stovies is a Scottish dish which combines leftover meat, potatoes and onion. They are all boiled together with some stock to add flavouring. Stovies were created as a way to use up the Sunday roast leftovers and reduce food waste during tough times. Next is Tunnocks Sweets. Tunnocks is a family-owned company which opened in Scotland in the year 1890. I read online that they make over 12 million biscuits and cakes every single week. They make a few different sweets, but the two that I recommend you to try in Scotland are the Tunnocks tea cake, which consists of a marshmallow on a biscuit base which is coated in chocolate, and Tunnocks caramel logs, which I personally love. These consist of soft caramel and layers of wafer covered in a thin layer of chocolate. Sticky toffee pudding is a classic dessert. It's a very moist sponge cake which is made using finely chopped dates and it's covered in toffee sauce. It's said to have originated in Aberdeenshire and it tastes really good with custard or ice cream. A Scottish breakfast is similar to an English or Irish breakfast, but some of the ingredients are a little bit different. It really depends where you get your Scottish breakfast from, but typical items that you'll find on a Scottish breakfast include Lorne sausage, link sausage, fried egg, bacon, baked beans, black pudding, haggis, tatty scones, fried tomatoes and mushrooms. Although it's called a Scottish breakfast, this is not something that most Scottish people would eat for breakfast every day. I found an interesting study online that mentioned that 57% of Scottish people would eat a Scottish breakfast at least once a month. Most of you probably know what a Mars bar is, however I do know that it's not sold in every country. So for those of you who don't know, it's a very popular chocolate bar and inside is caramel, nougat and then it's covered in a layer of chocolate. It was first introduced in the United States in 1932. They're so good. In Scotland, you can find deep fried Mars bars. So the Mars bar is coated in a batter and then deep fried, and they're usually sold at chip shops. The result is a very crispy exterior and the inside is very warm, gooey and melted. I only tried a deep fried Mars bar for the first time a few years ago and they're actually really good. Next is a Scotch egg. A Scotch egg is a popular lunch or picnic item and it's a soft or hard boiled egg covered with sausage meat and then coated in breadcrumbs. It's then deep fried or baked until crispy. Scotch eggs can be found in most supermarkets. Scotch pies are a popular snack or meal in Scotland. They're often enjoyed at football games or as convenient on-the-go food. A Scotch pie is a savoury pie which is filled with mincemeat. Traditionally, mutton or lamb is used, but sometimes you'll find some with beef. The meat is mixed with spices and sometimes onions. The meat filling is covered in the pastry shell, and Scotch pies tend to be quite small and you can hold them in your hand. You can find other types of pies in Scotland too. Macaroni pie is a popular one, however Scotch pie is probably the most traditional. Scotch broth is a hearty Scottish soup which uses ingredients like lamb or mutton, barley and a selection of vegetables such as carrots, turnips, leeks and various herbs and seasonings. The ingredients are all simmered together and turned into a nutritious broth, and it's often served in the winter months. While we're on the topic of soup, another soup I recommend you to try is cock-a-leekie soup. This is sometimes called Scotland's national soup, and it's made using chicken and leeks, and the traditional recipe includes prunes. A clootie dumpling is a traditional Scottish dessert which resembles a steamed fruit pudding. The ingredients are mixed and placed inside a cloth or clute, and then it's tied like a dumpling and boiled or steamed. Scotland has a long history of cheese making, and there's some great cheeses to try. Some that I recommend include Strathdon Blue, Cabbock, Crowdy, Isle of Mull cheddar, Orkney cheddar, Anster, Clava Brie and Dunshire Blue. Mince and tatties is a classic Scottish dish, and it consists of minced beef cooked with onions and seasonings, and then on the side is potatoes or tatties. It's a hearty and economical comfort dish that's popular all throughout Scotland. Scottish seafood is known for its high quality and diverse range, including salmon, langoustines, lobster, crab, scallops, cod and haddock. While travelling Scotland, you'll find many restaurants and seafood shacks serving Scotland's amazing seafood. You might not associate Scotland with curry, but since the 1970s, Indian food has gained a lot of popularity in the UK. Since then, Glasgow's curry scene has gone from strength to strength and is home to some of the most amazing curry restaurants. A Glasgow chef is said to have invented the chicken tikka masala curry in the 1970s. If you're in Glasgow, I recommend you to visit one of the amazing curry restaurants there and also try chicken tikka masala. A Scottish morning roll, also called a bap, is a round and soft bread roll. It resembles a hamburger bun, but it has a softer and chewier texture. It often has a floury crust and is commonly eaten at breakfast time, and inside you can put things like fried egg, tatty scone or square sausage. You'll also find rolls available at lunchtime, and they're often served with fillings like egg mayonnaise or cheese. Morning rolls are best eaten on the day that they're baked. They never taste as good on the second day. A Dundee cake is a traditional Scottish fruit cake, and it includes ingredients like currants, sultanas, orange peel and almonds. It tastes quite rich and has a slight crumbly texture and is often enjoyed at Christmas time. Scottish macaroons are a little different to the macaroons or macarons that you might have heard of before from France. A Scottish macaroon has a sweet fondant centre. It's covered in chocolate and then coconut. These are really sweet but taste really good. Digestive biscuits were invented in Scotland in the 19th century by two doctors. Originally, they were used to help with digestion because baking soda was one of the ingredients and it was thought to have digestive properties. While modern understanding of the digestive system has evolved, the name digestive biscuit has stuck and continues to be an extremely popular biscuit to this day. Scottish bannocks look a little bit like scones, but they tend to be savoury and have an oaty or barley flavour, and often served warm alongside dishes like Cullen's skink. They were traditionally made on a stone in front of the fire, and it was called a bannock stane. Scottish game typically refers to various types of wild game hunted in Scotland for food. This can include animals like deer, grouse, pheasant and rabbits. Game dishes are a significant part of Scotland's traditional cuisine, and as you're travelling Scotland you might see items on menus like venison stews or game pies. In Scotland you can find many chip shops, and two dishes I recommend you to order are chips and cheese or a chip butty, which is a morning roll that I mentioned before filled with chips. Both of those are so good. I've covered dishes that you're likely to find all over Scotland. However, there are some very good, delicious regional specialities as well, which I'm going to share. The first one is something called Ecclefechan tart. It's a tart which originates from a village called Ecclefechan in the south of Scotland. It has a rich filling of butter, sugar, eggs, mixed nuts and sometimes dried fruits enclosed in a pastry shell. It's a sweet, gooey and nutty textured tart, and it's very nice with cream or custard. You'll sometimes find it on the dessert menu in restaurants, especially in southern Scotland. Butteries, also called Aberdeen rolls, originate from northeast Scotland. They're kind of like a flat croissant and slightly salty and slightly sweet. They're made using butter and lard, so they're quite rich. They were originally made for sailors, and since they've got lard in them, they don't go off, so they lasted a long time out at sea. Four for Bridie is a traditional Scottish pastry filled with minced beef and onions covered in a flaky pastry shell. It's savoury and handheld and originated from the town Forfar in Scotland. When you order chips from a chip shop in Scotland, you'll often be offered salt and vinegar. However, if you order chips in Edinburgh, you'll be offered something different called salt and sauce. The sauce is usually a mixture of brown sauce and vinegar. Salt and sauce is not common to find in other parts of Scotland. Arbroath smokies are a type of smoked haddock which originate from the town of Arbroath in Scotland. The haddock is dry salted and then hot smoked. This gives the fish a golden brown appearance, firm flesh and a rich smoky flavour. They're often enjoyed on their own or as a key ingredient as part of various dishes. I recently tried Arbroath smoky risotto, which tasted really great. Like Parma ham and champagne, Arbroath smokies can only be called Arbroath smokies if they're produced within a 5-mile radius from Arbroath town centre. Scottish beef is known for its high quality, and breeds like Aberdeen Angus, Highland and Galloway are ones to look out for. The animals often graze on natural grassy landscapes, which results in well marbled and flavourful meat. Patties are a regional speciality from Orkney. They are mince, tatties and onions mixed together and deep fried. I tried a vegetarian cheese and onion patty when I was in Orkney and it tasted great. Now I've covered all the food, let's move on to drinks. Whisky is Scotland's national drink and it is renowned worldwide. The world's best-selling whisky brands like the Glenlivet, Glenfiddich and Johnnie Walker all come from Scotland. Scotland has many different whisky regions and they have slightly different tastes. If you come to Scotland, drinking a dram of whisky here is an absolute must. Although Scotland is known for its whisky, there are some beers produced in Scotland too, and here are some that you can try. The first is Scotch ales. These are also known as wee heavies. It's a style of beer known for its rich, malty and caramel flavours, and they usually have a high percentage of alcohol. Another beer is Tennent's. This is Scotland's best-selling beer and has an iconic yellow and red branding. You'll find this available in most pubs and bar, and it's a very easy to drink lager. Another Scottish beer brand is Brewdog. This was founded in 2007 and they're known for their craft beers. They produce interesting flavours and operate the Brewdog bars. Sometimes called Scotland's second national drink, Iron Brew is a soft drink which outsells Coca-Cola here in Scotland. It has a distinctive orange colour and it's said to be a great hangover cure. A few years ago, the recipe for Iron Brew was changed and the sugar content was reduced. This was after taxes were introduced on high sugar drinks. Many fans of Iron Brew were very upset by this. The next drink is something called Buckfast tonic wine. This is a caffeinated alcoholic beverage which was originally produced by the Benedictine monks of Buckfast Abbey in Devon in England. This drink has a reputation in Scotland for being associated with Ned culture and antisocial behaviour. I don't think you'll find Buckfast in bars. I had to go to a convenience store to buy this and I've actually never tried it before. So I'm going to try it for the first time now. Let's give it a go. Oh wow, it kind of looks like coffee. Wow. Interesting. I've never tasted anything like that before. That's quite nice. Next up is gin. Gin is not a Scottish drink, but Scotland makes 70% of the gin which is produced in the UK. In recent years, distillers in Scotland have gained recognition for their interesting and high quality gins with unique flavour profiles using botanicals from the natural landscapes of the country. Many Scottish gins showcase a mix of traditional and locally sourced botanicals, resulting in a range of flavours from citrusy and floral to herbal and spiced. Hendrick's and The Botanist are two Scottish gins that I really like. And last but not least is Scottish water. Scottish water is renowned for its purity and high quality. It's sourced from natural springs, lochs and reservoirs, known for its clarity and lack of contaminants. It's often considered some of the best tap water in the world, making it a valuable resource and essential element for the production of beverages like Scottish whisky. In this video, I've introduced many different foods and drinks for you to try when you visit Scotland. I hope you enjoy some of my recommendations. To save you time writing everything down, I've compiled this list into a PDF which you can download in the video description below. I create lots of videos about travel in Scotland, so if you're interested, feel free to subscribe to the channel. See you next time!